Hello, friends, family, gamers, individuals. Welcome back to the channel. My name is More Than Moral. Today, we're going to be making a very special video about my favorite girl, best girl, Huma. So the reason I wanted to make a video specifically about Huma is because I've played on multiple people's accounts. I've played all the characters on my account. I've played every character in this game except Claudia. Claudia's out. I just haven't had the opportunity to try her yet. Every team comp that I've tried, every set of characters that I've tried, everything that I've tried, nothing feels as good and as fun to play as Huma does. Today, we're gonna get into her team comps, her builds, her stats, her stars, all of it. We're gonna deep dive into Huma. That kind of sounded suspicious. Look at her, bro. She's such a treasure, she doesn't even fit in the treasure chest. So first things first, let's get into Huma's stats, stars, and maybe a bit about why I think she's such an underrated character. The stats kind of speak for themselves, but they don't tell the full story. So I'm going to tell you the full story. So for Huma's stats, obviously you can see here, she has attack, resistance, HP. She does not have a crit stat. What that means is that Huma is not a main DPS. You're not going to be main DPSing, getting gigantic numbers. That's not the purpose of Huma. Huma's purpose is going to be to charge your team up, to shatter extremely quickly, to be a tank if that's something that you want to do, if that's a role you want to fulfill, if that's something you need for current raid content or join ops or whatever else. She's going to be a great sub DPS, and she's also going to be a great enabler for your team to just do more damage because of how much utility she applies for a team, specifically a fire team. But at this point in the game, Huma can slot into multiple teams and be useful throughout multiple teams. So like I said, looking at her stats, she has 10 on her shatter, 10 on her charge. That doesn't tell the full story. King is a character who has an double S for his shatter. He has 14.3 shatter. That's his stat. Huma can actually shatter faster than King because of her attack combos. That's what we want to pay attention here whenever we look at charge and shatter stats in this game, is what attacks are they going to be doing to wield the shatter, to wield the charge. Because a number is great, but how you're applying the shatter and how you're charging up based on charge per hit is going to matter a lot more than some number. If you're attacking slow and not getting much charge for it, but your charge stat is very high, obviously you're not going to be getting your discharge on your characters very quickly. So the main reason I think that Huma is underrated right now, after playing multiple teams, ice teams, Volt teams, I haven't played the physical team yet, like I said, because I haven't played Claudia, is because of all the utility and enabling she applies to the team. She's not a main DPS and she's not a buffer, but what she is an excellent shatter character. She's great to slot in almost any team comp where you're missing maybe a third member. She's going to be an excellent charger to enable you to do more damage with your other characters. She's going to fulfill the role of a tank. Huma's a flame character, so she's going to work really well with other flame characters in the future. Like, for example, soon we're getting Cobalt B. Huma's also really good at 0 stars, but really she wants her first star to really start shining. So what Huma's first star does is you gain damage protection and a damage bonus, but you get that in different ways. Let me explain. So when Huma has her shield out, as you can see, she has her shield out. Whenever you do an aerial attack, a dodge attack, or any mix of both, you're going to get these at the bottom. What this is strong shield. And what that does for you is it gives you stacks of damage protection. It's 10% each stack, adding up to 30% once you get 3 stacks. It also lasts for 15 seconds. What you can do with all of those stacks is actually turn them into something called sharp stacks, which means now you get a 15% damage boost for each stack. That's a 45% damage boost. That's a 30% damage reduction. So she's going to work better as a tank, and she's going to be doing a lot more damage. Her next important star is going to be her 5th star, which is going to buff that first star by a lot. After switching to your shield axe, immediately grant 30% damage reduction that diminishes by 10% every 3 seconds, down to a minimum of 10%. Switching the weapon cancels the effect. What that means is even when you're in axe mode, you're gonna get that damage buff and you're going to still get damage reduction. That's a pretty nice buff. You're getting both of the stacks in one effect. Well, let me show you what this looks like. So this is shield mode. Whenever we're in shield mode, we get the damage reduction, right? That's how it works. Whenever we're in axe mode, we get the damage buff. What Huma's 5th star is essentially saying is that you're gonna take these stacks and still turn them into damage stacks when you switch to the axe, but you're also going to get that damage reduction by 30%. Even though it diminishes, you're still getting extra protection as a tank character and you're doing more damage. That's pretty huge. Her next star that's going to add a ton of utility and damage to Huma is going to be her 6th star, which states that you're going to increase the damage dealt whenever you slam the shield on the ground by 60%, and you're going to increase the flame zone that appears when you're switching to axe zone by 30%. So the damage when you switch from your shield to your axe, you're already getting the damage reduction and the damage boost. Now you're going to get more damage and you're going to increase the zone that you lay on the floor that constantly burns enemies. So when you switch to the axe version, the flame circle that sits on the ground and constantly burns enemies like this is going to be increased, the range of it by 30% and the damage of it by 60%. That's pretty gigantic, but that's not even the best part about the star. The best part about this star is for the next 5 seconds after you do that conversion, you're gonna turn all damage received into HP. All damage for 5 seconds received. Now it's going to heal you to a maximum percent of 15% of your health. So even if you take on a ton of damage, it's only going to heal 15% of your health, but you're basically gonna be invulnerable for 5 whole seconds. Now in this game, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you played Tower of Fantasy, you know that you can get one shot by bosses at almost any point. Apophis can hit you with his gigantic ball and just send you to heaven instantly. The scaling in this game can be pretty ridiculous, especially when we get into the end game. So this 5 seconds of turning damage into heals is going to be gigantic utility for Huma, and it's also going to mean that in the future when we get Cobalt, if we want to switch out one of our teammates for Cobalt, we're still gonna have healing. Like for example, I have Nemesis on my Huma team. Nemesis is an incredible healer. I have her 1st star to increase her healing, but now if I don't have her on the team and if I have Cobalt instead of her, I'm going to be able to use Huma to heal herself, which is massive. The next thing I want to talk about is Huma's matrices. After I show you her matrices and stuff like that, I'm going to get into team rotations and teammates you want to use with her. So her 2-piece set is actually really good for her and right now for Frigg. If you have Frigg, I suggest using this on her if you have these pieces. Hitting targets with dodge skills inflicts bleed, dealing damage equal to 15% of your attack for 5 seconds. Now, as you get advancements for your matrices, this is only going to get better. 15, 19, 22, 26 as you advance these matrices. What that means is whenever you get copies of the matrice in the same slot, if I have this one right here, I've gotten a copy of this one in the same slot, so I've been able to advance it. Once the advancement is high enough, I'm going to go from 15% to 19% to 22% to 26%. Now, the 4-piece bonus is also pretty nice, to be honest. What this says is reduce attack of all targets within 8 meters that are taking damage over time by 10% or more as you get those advancements. The reason that this is nice is because it turns Huma from a pretty good tank into an incredible tank who is getting damage bonus from her stars, who is getting health back from herself, and who's also getting gigantic amounts of attack boost from the 2-piece set and from her stars. Okay, boys, so how we're gonna want to play Huma is first we're gonna want to get our stacks like I showed you, as long as you have her 1st star. So that's gonna be slam attacks like that from the air, dodge attacks are gonna give it to us, and those are really gonna be the 2 you want to use. Huma has an attack where she holds this down and she explodes, but honestly her dodge attack does similar damage. It's very nice. Once we get these strong shield stacks to 3, what we're gonna want to do is turn them into sharp axe stacks by hitting the ground. And then after that, once she's into axe mode, you're gonna want to do your dodge attacks like this. So get your dodge attacks so she spins. Whenever Huma spins like this is why her shatter and her charge are so crazy, right? Look at how much discharge I have. So I'm gonna hit this discharge because I built it up, right? Bam. Bam. We already have another discharge because of how much she gives us whenever we're rotating with Huma. It's kind of ridiculous how much you can do with just Huma on the field. If you're just using Huma for shatter, you're not going to want to do all this though. So say you're on an ice team and you're missing somebody like Meryl or Coco or whoever else, and you just want to slot in Huma, right? You're gonna be attacking. You get to an enemy where you need to shatter, right? So we're gonna switch to Huma. We're not gonna build up our stacks. We're immediately gonna switch to the axe and start Beyblading, right? We're gonna do these spins. That's a dodge attack and mouse 1. That's it. It's that easy. After you shred the shields and see that now you have discharges in the bottom, you're gonna hit your discharges, cycle through. All the shields are broke. Everything is broke. We have another discharge. We're gonna hit that. Now you can either go back to Huma if her shield is up, so you can switch again and get her sharp axe again if her shield is up. And if her shield isn't up, then you can switch to your main DPS instead and then switch to Huma after. That way you're maximizing your damage and you're always ready to go whenever your shield is up. You always want to be on her shield whenever it's ready, or a couple seconds ahead, so that you can build those strong shield stacks and turn them into sharp axe stacks. Okay, so I've mentioned teams already, but the team I like to play, as you could see, is Huma, King, and Nemesis. That's basically the main team I like to run right now. Whenever Cobalt B comes out, I'm either going to be replacing Nemesis or King and using Huma as Shatter and then Cobalt as the main DPS for the team. I'm going to see how that works. I'm going to test it out and then we'll make a video about that later. Another team that can be really good to run with Huma is this team right here, where it's Frigg, it's Meryl, and then you can run Huma instead of Nemesis, or you can run Huma instead of Meryl. The reason being is Meryl gets a lot of damage boosts from the ice resonance that Frigg brings, but Meryl also has very little charge and sometimes can actually shatter slower than Huma does. So if you bring Huma into this team and you don't have Meryl, or your Meryl's not built, you're still going to get a lot out of this team. If Frigg made it so other characters' dodge attacks didn't take stamina like hers, then Huma here would be absolutely broken. I don't know if I would recommend running Huma instead of a healer unless you have Meryl C1, which is actually going to heal 10% of the HP. I would either have Coco Ritter or Nemesis here if possible, but Huma's an option to slot in if you don't have those units. So for a fire team like this, you're gonna wanna run Huma, obviously. But for other teams, you're only going to want to slot her in if you don't have the units that complement the team. Okay, so with this gate, what I want to show you guys is some advanced things about this team's rotation, about Huma rotations that you can use to start maximizing your damage. Yes, this stuff is sweatier, but Huma is a animation canceling character. There's a lot of animations you can cancel with her that make her feel more like a fighting character, and that's what makes her so fun. So learning to do this stuff isn't to do it for the sweat necessarily, although it does help. It also improves the experience of just how much fun you have with this character. So for Huma, like I said, we're gonna build up her stacks. That's 3 stacks. They're already almost dead. We have 3 stacks. We're gonna drop the axe on the ground and jump instantly so that we don't sit on the ground, okay? Whenever I first started playing Huma, I would slam on the ground with the shield to the axe form and then just sit there for the longest time and take damage. And I was like, man, this is kind of ruining my Huma experience. I really like the look of this character and the way that she plays, but I don't like how long she spends on the ground. That is until I learned how to animation cancel. So as you can see, we're gonna use Huma until we get our discharges, and after we get our discharges, we're gonna just start cycling through characters. And normally this would be a little bit faster, but I'm trying to show you guys exactly how this looks. So we're back to Huma. We're gonna go Huma, get all of our stacks, drop the axe, bop, spin on them, and on your last spin, what you can do is mid-spin, you can actually hit jump and you'll stop spinning. That way you can start attacking instantly instead of standing there like this and waiting. You don't want to wait like that. You spin and you wait. You spin and you wait. You can literally negate that by spinning, pressing jump, and you're out of it. You can start attacking again. So just to kind of recap Huma's specific animation cancels, anytime you slam on the ground, you're gonna wanna jump. Let me just actually show you guys. Whenever you slam your axe on the ground, if you don't jump, this is how long you have to wait to attack. I was clicking attack that whole time. That's how long you have to wait. If you jump, you're instantly out of that, and you can either do an aerial or land back on the ground and start doing your Beyblade and spin. The Beyblade spin is what's gonna give you so much shatter and charge. The reason being is because she hits multiple times while she's spinning. Every single one of those hits is going to be shattering shields and charging up for your discharges. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put it all together so that you can see exactly what it looks like uninterrupted with relics in the mix as well. These rotations do matter, not just for the fun, but to maximize your damage as well and to be more helpful teammate whenever you do team content with either your friends, your crewmates, or with randoms out in the world. Don't forget to drink water as well. You see this giant, drink it. All right, let's get it. Make sure we're on the right relics and go. The discharge I hit depends on what I need out of the team, right? So if I need to heal, I'll hit Nemesis instead, but most of the time I'm going to be wanting more damage on the field. And there you go. As some of you PvPers know as well, Huma is incredible in PvP because she applies stun and knockup. The reason that's a big deal is because knockups and stuns help you finish the kill after you crack the shield in PvP. The team that I run in PvP is the exact team with the exact relics you see here. The only thing I'll switch out is switching the missile barrage for the jetpack. Frigg works really, really well on this team. You can just completely dump Nemesis and put Frigg on here and get insane confirms because Frigg can actually freeze enemies. But essentially what you're going to be using Huma for is after you crack the shield, you're going to want to slam your opponent over and over and over again, because that's going to give you free damage and free knockup to extend how long they're stunned. So after you crack the shield, they're stunned. It's a really good comp, really good setup, and I love it, to be honest. I just love Huma. I mean, even if she wasn't good, look at how good she looks, bro. The eyes, the freaking... All right, boys. That's the Huma video. The PvP aspects, the builds, the teams, matrices, PvP options. Huma's a great character. She's probably the most underrated SSR in the game right now. I have a ton of fun playing her, to be honest. It's like playing a fighting character in an MMO where you're used to doing range damage. Huma gives you a lot of freedom. Huma's just a really fun, quick swap, go fast, be aggressive, get those confirmations team, and that's absolutely my playstyle. If you enjoy playing that type of way, I think you'll really enjoy Huma. Even if you don't, she brings so much utility that you might want to use her anyway. Thank you guys for watching. We stream 3 times a week on Twitch. We make TikToks. We do all sorts of content. If you enjoy the videos and want to consume more and be even more of a squishy boy, check us out on other things, other platforms. Come hang out. We have a great community who love to talk and play different games on Twitch. So if you're ever there, the link's in the description to come follow. Get those notifications and you'll know when we're going live. All right, cool, good. Everybody good? Everything covered? Cool. All right. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Yeah.